Look at this. If you didn't know better, you'd think it was a fossil, a bone from some ancient creature preserved in metal. But this is the Raptor engine, the most powerful rocket engine ever flown. And this organic, lattice-like structure you're seeing is not a design choice. It's a survival mechanism. Why does the world's most advanced rocket engine look like it was grown in a lab rather than built in a factory? Because human engineers, working with traditional CAD software, cannot design what is required to push Starship to Mars. The stresses, the pressures, the thermal gradients, they are too extreme for conventional geometry. So SpaceX stopped designing. They started evolving. Today, we're diving into how SpaceX uses generative design and evolutionary algorithms to strip every non-essential gram of metal from the Raptor turbopump manifolds. We're going to explore how AI pits thousands of virtual designs against high-pressure fluid dynamics, killing off the weak and letting the strong survive. We'll look at the metal 3D printing that makes these impossible geometries real, and we'll calculate the mass savings that translate directly to interplanetary payload. This isn't just engineering. This is biological evolution, accelerated in silicon and forged in superalloy.
Section 2. Evolutionary Algorithms versus Human Engineering. This is generative design. It is not CAD. CAD, computer-aided design, is a drafting tool. You tell it what shape you want and it helps you draw it. Generative design flips that relationship. You tell the software what you need the part to do and the software evolves the shape to accomplish it. The process starts with constraints. The engineer defines the physical space the manifold can occupy. They define the mounting points where it attaches to the rest of the engine. They define the inlet and outlet ports for the propellant. And then they define the loads, the internal pressures, the thermal gradients, the vibrational frequencies, the safety factors. The software then runs an evolutionary algorithm. It generates thousands, sometimes millions of virtual designs. Each design is a random variation on the last. The software simulates the physical stresses on each design. It applies the pressure loads, calculates the thermal expansion, simulates the vibration response. Designs that fail are deleted. Designs that survive are mutated and combined to create the next generation. This is biomimicry coded into software. In nature, a bird's wing isn't designed, it evolved over millions of years, with every gram of bone and feather optimized for strength and weight. The software does the same thing in hours. It lets the forces sculpt the material. The result looks alien. It looks like something you'd find in a coral reef. The material flows along the stress lines, thickening where loads are high, thinning where they are low. Sharp internal corners, the classic stress concentration points that cause cracks, are eliminated. The geometry is non-linear, non-repetitive, and entirely optimized for the specific loads it will experience. Where a human engineer, constrained by manufacturing limitations, would leave a solid wall, the generative algorithm carves out a lattice. Where a human would add a rib for reinforcement, the algorithm grows a branching structure that distributes load like the trabeculae in human bone. This is not decoration. Every curve, every void, every fillet exists because the physics demanded it. Section 3. Optimizing the flow path. But structural optimization is only half the battle. The manifold doesn't just have to survive pressure, it has to deliver propellant to the injector with minimal pressure drop and stable flow characteristics. Traditional manifolds, with their sharp bends and abrupt transitions, create turbulence. Turbulence is the enemy of rocket engines. It creates pressure oscillations that can couple with combustion instabilities, leading to destructive vibrations. It also wastes energy that the turbopump had to generate, which means more mass in the turbine, which means more mass in the engine. The generative design software simultaneously optimizes for structural integrity and fluid dynamics. It doesn't just ask where does the stress go, it asks how does the fluid move. The algorithm smooths the internal passages, eliminating eddies and recirculation zones. The walls curve gently, guiding the propellant rather than forcing it to turn. The internal supports, the lattice structures we saw earlier, are not just structural. They are strategically placed to dampen fluid oscillations. They act like baffles, breaking up pressure waves before they can resonate. This is critical for the Raptor's full-flow staged combustion cycle, where precise propellant flow is essential for stability. The lattice itself is a marvel of optimization. A solid wall of metal would be heavy, a thin wall would be weak. The lattice, a repeating pattern of tiny struts, provides the rigidity of a much thicker section with a fraction of the mass. It's the same principle that makes a steel bridge truss stronger than a solid steel beam of the same weight. The algorithm determines the optimal strut thickness, orientation, and density for every region of the manifold. The shift in engineering philosophy here is profound. In traditional design, the engineer defines the how. I will make this wall 5 millimeters thick. In generative design, the engineer defines the why. This region must withstand 500 megapascals of stress while allowing fluid to pass through with less than 2% pressure drop. The AI solves the how. It finds solutions that no human would conceive because no human is constrained by the same physics. Section 4. Metal 3D Printing, the Unthinkable. Generative design produces geometries that are impossible to machine. You cannot put a CNC mill inside a lattice structure. You cannot drill curved internal passages. So how do you make these parts? You print them. SpaceX uses advanced laser powder bed fusion, a form of metal 3D printing. The process is mesmerizing. A thin layer of metal powder, typically a superalloy like Inconel or a custom SpaceX-developed material, is spread across a build platform. A high-powered laser traces the cross-section of the manifold, melting the powder into solid metal. The platform drops by the thickness of a human hair. Another layer of powder is spread, and the laser traces the next cross-section. Over thousands of layers, the manifold grows from a bed of powder into a fully formed component. The internal lattice structures, the curved passages, the organic external geometry, all of it is built simultaneously. No assembly, no welding, no fasteners. The manifold is a single continuous piece of metal. But printing the geometry is the first step. The material properties of printed metal are different from forged or cast metal. The rapid heating and cooling create unique grain structures. Residual stresses are locked into the component as it cools. To ensure the manifold doesn't shatter under the Raptor's 300 bar pressure, SpaceX subjects the printed components to specialized heat treatments. These are not off-the-shelf processes. They are developed specifically for each alloy and each geometry. The part is heated to precise temperatures, held for specific durations, and cooled at controlled rates. This relieves residual stresses, homogenizes the microstructure, and ensures the material has the ductility to survive pressure spikes without fracturing. Quality control is equally advanced. Each printed manifold undergoes non-destructive inspection, X-ray computed tomography that creates a 3D model of the internal structure, verifying that every lattice strut is intact, every passage is clear, and there are no voids or inclusions. The sensors on the printers themselves monitor the melt pool in real time, detecting anomalies layer by layer. If a defect is detected, the print can be halted before wasting hours of build time.
So, after all of this complexity, the AI evolution, the laser printing, the specialized heat treatment, what is the payoff? How much mass does SpaceX actually save? While exact numbers are proprietary, industry analysts estimate that generative design reduces the mass of critical turbopump components by 30 to 50% compared to traditionally manufactured parts. For a single Raptor engine, that's kilograms of savings. For the 33 engines on Super Heavy and the 6 on Starship, that's hundreds of kilograms of dry mass reduction. In the rocket equation, dry mass reduction is a multiplier. Every kilogram removed from the engine does not require propellant to lift it. That propellant, in turn, does not require more propellant to lift it. The mass savings cascade. For a fully reusable Starship making the journey to Mars, a 50-kilogram reduction in engine mass can translate to hundreds of kilograms of additional payload delivered to the Martian surface. But the benefits go beyond mass. The generative-designed manifolds are more reliable. The elimination of sharp internal corners removes stress concentration points. The optimized flow paths reduce pressure oscillations that can lead to combustion instability. The single-piece construction eliminates weld joints, historically the weakest points in any pressure system. This reliability is essential for the missions that Starship is designed to accomplish. The tanker variants that will refuel Starship in orbit will launch multiple times per day, requiring engines that can cycle rapidly without inspection. The lunar Starship will need to land and take off from the Moon without access to maintenance facilities. The Mars fleet will make a 6-month transit, then sit dormant for years before returning. Every component on those vehicles must be optimized to the absolute limit. There is no room for excess mass. There is no room for failure. Generative design allows SpaceX to push those limits further than traditional manufacturing ever could. The adoption of generative design and metal additive manufacturing represents a fundamental shift in how SpaceX builds rockets. It's not just about one component, it's about a philosophy. Traditional aerospace manufacturing was defined by constraints. You could only machine what a mill could reach. You could only cast what would flow out of a mold. You could only weld what you could access with a torch. Generative design inverts those constraints. The only limits are the physical properties of the material and the resolution of the printer. This approach is now spreading across the industry. Competitors are investing in their own generative design capabilities. Suppliers are being forced to adapt. The companies that master this technology will have a fundamental advantage in the commercial space race of 2026 and beyond. But SpaceX has a head start. They have integrated generative design into their core engineering workflow. They've built the in-house printing capacity to produce these components at scale. They have the flight data from hundreds of Raptor firings to validate the designs and refine the algorithms. Every time a Raptor engine fires, it generates data. That data feeds back into the generative algorithms. The next iteration of the manifold will be slightly better, slightly lighter, slightly stronger, slightly more efficient. The designs are evolving in real time, with each test flight providing the selection pressure that drives improvement. The Raptor engine is often described as the most advanced rocket engine ever built. But what we're seeing today is just the beginning. The generative design tools that created these organic, bone-like manifolds are becoming more powerful. The metal printers are becoming faster and more precise. The materials are becoming more capable. The next generation of Raptor, Raptor 3, is already incorporating lessons learned from these generative iterations. The manifolds are being integrated into even larger assemblies, reducing part count and eliminating more fasteners. The boundary between pump and manifold and injector is blurring. We are moving toward an engine that is not assembled from thousands of individual parts, but grown as a single continuous structure. This is what the future of rocket manufacturing looks like. Not blocky machined components, not welded assemblies, but evolved organic structures that exist at the intersection of artificial intelligence, materials science, and the unforgiving physics of spaceflight. The next time you see a Starship launch, look past the fire. Look at the turbopump. Somewhere inside that engine is a manifold that was never designed, it was evolved, and every gram of metal that was stripped away is a kilogram of cargo that will one day land on Mars. Thanks for watching. If you want to dive deeper into the additive manufacturing techniques behind Raptor or the software architecture of generative design, check out the links in the description. Let me know in the comments, do you think generative design will eventually replace traditional CAD entirely? I'll see you in the next one.